Hey YouTubers, this is ThomasZoey3000 here, and welcome back to my model railroad layout. Yep, we're finally back to the layout, YouTubers. And for today, I'm going to show you some updates of the layout, as well as giving you a nice long operating session with Thomas here on the inside line, and an additional surprise on the outside line. Now, as you recall, back in 2015, I did a video for the layout, just showing off Christmas trains. And during that video, there was a little hidden surprise. He was sort of a work in progress at the time, and technically he still is a work in progress right now, but he's nearing completion. Did you guys spot him during that video? If you hadn't, well, here he is. It's James. That's right. It's James. But it's no ordinary James. Let me bring him closer so I can show you a little better. Yeah, he's slipping on the rails there. Too much of a load behind him, but gave him a bit of a load today, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, you can see James looks different. And the reason he looks so different is because he's in black. Yep. This is my custom Bachmann Origins James. Yeah. This is the model I showed off in 2015. Yeah. I had him sitting on the siding while Thomas and Percy did all the runs. He wasn't quite ready for our running sessions at that time, but now he is today. Well, sort of. As you can see, I'm still missing some red lining along here, and I need to fully repaint the handlebars, not just on this side, but this side as well. Now, when I started work on James, originally I just used a black marker on him just to cover up the red paint, but in later times I finally repainted him properly using black paint and using red paint for the lining. Of course, I left his dome gold, as you can see. And for the back end, I completely colored in, well, the back part. Now I'm going to show you the tender real quick. Here is James's tender. I know the lining's not perfect, but you know what? I'm giving it my best shot. I'll show you the back end here. Again, lining's not perfect, but yeah. Still pretty good. And I'm basing this off the Adventure Begins version of Origins James, because in the Adventure Begins he had the number 5 on his tender, whereas in the Railway series he had no number. Yeah, in fact it wasn't until I think book 6 that the engines got their numbers. Only Thomas had a number at that time for the first 5 books, and then everyone had a number. Yep. Just trying to put James back on the rails here. Alright, yeah, that's Origins James. And in case you're wondering, hang on, if you painted your James, that means you don't have a red James now. Actually, I do, and I'm going to go get the red James just to show you that I still have a modern day version of James. Give me 1 second. And ignore the meowing sounds, it's just one of my cats. Yep, so, as you can clearly see, I have red James back there. So I got 2 versions. I got the modern day James and Origins James. And he's struggling to go backwards. Yeah. He's only got about 8 trucks behind him. Yet he struggles on this part of the layout, which I've now nicknamed Gordon's Hill going into Henry's Tunnel. Yep. So there you have it. I've got red James and black James. I want to show you some work I've done on the red version here. Yep, maybe I can separate the tender if I remember how to do this right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's start off here with the most obvious changes. The hooks are now black. This spot underneath the smoke box is now black. And did that back end too. And as you will also notice, his wheels are now black, whereas originally they were gray. And yes, I did the same thing with Origins James back there. The secret, being very careful with a black Sharpie marker. Yeah, I used a black Sharpie marker. Came out really good. A little sloppy at times, I will admit, but you know what? No one's perfect. Now I'll show you James's tender here. Again, the black wheels and the black axles and black hook. So, he looks pretty good now. Yep. Also colored in the hook in between James's tender and James himself. And now I'll put this James away because you're not going to see him running today. Alright, now, allow me to show you Origins James's train. If he can bring it out. Come on, James. You can do it, buddy. That's right, as you can see, James has got a mostly customized train of repainted Charleston trucks, including number 4, my brown fan, and this, can't remember which one this is. Let me just disconnect this part of the train and we'll have a look underneath. If it will ever disconnect. Yeah. There's one part underneath you can actually see the original color, I think. Oh, quite dusty underneath there. Hang on. Oh yeah, if you look really closely in there behind the wheels, you'll see that it's actually orange. This was the orange cargo car. I just repainted to look like a blank Season 1 style truck. Alright, James, now back up your train into the tunnel. I'll get you running in a minute. Thank you, James. Alright, now let's have a good look over here at Thomas. Not too many drastic changes with Thomas, just gave him the black hooks. And actually, truth be told, this is the Christmas train set version of Thomas. I forget what it's called, the set now. But yeah, this is the Thomas from that set. I did originally have another Thomas, which is the stock standard Thomas, but the motor gave out. And so I had to replace it with this Thomas. All I did was just unscrew the plastic bit underneath that keeps the snowplow attached. And of course remove the snowplow. He's a little sluggish to start when he hasn't run in a long period of time, but you know, once he gets going, then he's fine. Yep. And he's very quiet too, unlike Origins James or even Henry, who's off on the siding over there. Now I just want to show you one of Thomas's coaches. Back up the camera a little bit. Keep the camera steady. Here is Clarabelle. As you can see, there's a couple of changes with her and Annie. They now have the black underside. Yeah, if you look completely underneath, still gray. But the visible parts are now black. My future plan for these ones is to basically paint some red in between the buffers and the frame. Yep. So they're still works in progress too. And as you can tell, they have gray roofs now. Yeah, originally I was going to leave them with the white roofs to make them look like the earlier years. But you know what? I kind of like the dark gray roofs that they have nowadays. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to repaint the roofs. And I did. Still not the best job in the world, but it does a good enough job right now. So yeah, Annie and Clarabelle got their own customizations. And as you can see down there, I've got more repainted troublesome trucks. And at the far end of that train, the blue open wagon has been repainted. It's at the far back end, back there. Yeah. I decided, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and repaint them. I haven't repainted the red open wagon. I almost said cargo car, but I guess they're both the same. Yeah. I haven't repainted that one because it's part of my Christmas trains. And starting in December, you guys will start seeing Christmas train videos. And hopefully next time with more than just Thomas and Percy running around. Yep. And now if we look over here, hit one of my buildings, you'll see I got a new piece of rolling stock. Charleston truck number 5 has joined the fleet. That's my only Charleston truck number 5, and it is the newest piece, having been delivered to me in February last year. Yeah, I know. I haven't really been collecting too many model railroad pieces, but give me a break, guys. I mean, I do live in Northern Ontario, and it's really difficult just to get back down to Southern Ontario just to do some model railroad shopping. But don't worry, I'm going to order plenty of model railroad pieces in the near future. Alright. Now I'm going to bring over one of Henry's coaches just to show you something. It looks similar, well, somewhat similar, to the Season 1 coaches. Yep. That's my plan, just to recreate some Season 1 coaches. This, of course, is the brake coach. For the buffers, I just used whiteout. Similar to what I did with the Adventures models, but, of course, I just painted the buffers on these coaches. That's it. I plan to do the same with Gordon's Express coaches at some point. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of my videos, you remember seeing these coaches, but back then, the paint was a little bit darker than this. Well, I wasn't too fond of the darker colors, so yeah, I went to the flea market one day in North Cobalt and got some lighter colors, and voila. I think the colors look great. They're a lot brighter on camera than they actually are in real life. As you can tell, this is basically Emily's coaches, but without the middle wheel set, and the roofs from discarded Annie and Clarabelle's. I think the other renditions of those coaches will probably be used as coaches in the scrapyard. Anyway, as you can tell, I only have 2 of these coaches. I got the brake coach and the regular coach, which is behind Henry. Alright, now for some changes to the layout. Wait for an aerial shot here. There's one more vehicle on the road. A little Beetle. Yep. And as you can tell, there's more ballast along here. Yep. More ballast to make it look much more realistic. Haven't quite gotten enough ballast put down yet, but I'll finish soon. And I still yet to add a buffer beam right there. Once that's done, I'll put down the last of the ballast all the way up to the tracks, and then that's it. As you can tell too, I've also started ballasting the outside of the tracks, but not the inside parts. Why? Well, the answer can clearly be seen right here, because this is much bigger ballast than what's over here. So when I vacuumed up the excess, or extra, I should be saying, ballast, well, it kind of sucked up the large portions of ballast. And plus, some of it was also stuck to the rails, and when I had to sand it down, it just removed a lot of that ballast. So, yeah, I'm going to try and find some smaller ballast to work with, then I can finish up the lines, just like these ones right here. Anyway, here's Henry as well. I've started work on the inside of his cab, turning it black, just to make it look more realistic and less toyish. And like most of the engines of the earlier era, he now has black hooks. Yep. See that building right there? It now has the top piece back. Yeah, it was actually found just yesterday. Pretty cool, eh? There's still some work that needs to be done along here, including to finishing the road, especially around Denny's there. And I need to work on that hill. This hill, however, has been finished, as you can see. Now, if I could just keep it glued down. Yep. And you remember those little figures I got from my father who went to George's Trains earlier this year? Well, most of them are here at the station. All but one. He kind of got sucked up in the vacuum cleaner. Oops. My bad. Yeah. They're actually a lot smaller than regular HO scale figures, as you can see. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I got 2 buildings over there. Just additional buildings that were bought in an auction. With a whole bunch of model railroad stuff. And, as you can see, I got a couple of signals. One of which is from a Tomy set. And one of which I think is from a Hornby train set. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. I know the layout's a little dusty, but only a few days ago I got back into operating trains on the layout, so yeah, this is a first for me. But yeah, the layout looks really great. So far, I'm quite pleased with the work I have done. I know it's not as much as I was hoping originally, but you know what? It's better to have a work-in-progress layout than no layout at all. Yeah. Since the demolition of my old layout back in Markham, I've been wanting to build a new one and operate some trains. Well, I guess small in size is better than nothing, eh? Yeah. Anyway, that's enough chit-chat about the work I've done on the layout. As you can see, there's still some work that needs to be done. I don't need to point it out because you can clearly see it. So we're just going to get into the operating session. For today's operating session, it's mostly Season 1-esque style of running session, as well as a bit of the adventure begins, with Origins James pulling his almost accurate train of trucks from the adventure begins. Yeah. So, without any further ado, let's get started into this operating session. We start off with, of course, the #1 blue engine, Thomas the Tank Engine. But hold on to your horses, here comes James and his runaway train. Alright, enjoy the operating session, guys. Okay, YouTubers, that is it. So, what did you think of that little operating session, eh? A little trip back in time to Season 1 of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, with a hint of the adventure begins. Yep. Sorry for some shaky shots there, just couldn't quite figure out where to put the camera. And again, half the time when I do these videos, I never know where to put the camera. Oh yeah, that's basically it. And if you're wondering about other customs I'm planning on doing in the future, I'm not going to tell you, because I want those to be a surprise. Yep, I want them to be a surprise. But hopefully in the next running session, I should have some of the other engines who haven't appeared in any of my videos run around for the first time. I have to look back on some of those videos just to know which engines I have used. But, you know, until then, I guess it'll be a surprise for all of us, eh? Including myself. So, thank you for waiting patiently for this video. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to do it, but yeah, here it is. Hope you've all enjoyed it. And before I conclude this video, one thing I gotta say, for anyone who wants to make Origins chains from Bachmann, whether it's using the old 2002 version or the new 2018 redesigned version, all I can say to you is just be patient, have a good steady hand, and don't be afraid to give it a try, okay? There might be some mistakes here and there, but, you know, you gotta make mistakes in order to learn and become better at doing what you're doing. Yeah. And that's about it. So, until next time, YouTubers, I am ThomasZoey3000. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm signing off. Right after James rushes past. Okay, and that's it. See you guys soon.